When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Well, hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and I'm really excited about it getting warmer. I was saying on the last episode that, it's getting hot, and I feel like I'm getting old because I'm like, I don't want it to get hot because I'm starting to really like the winters. But, I also realize how awesome it can be to get the vitamin D, to be out in the environment. My husband and I love to go up north in the mountains, so I get to be around the pine trees, which is all good for our wellness. And that is the topic that we're talking about today. I really believe, I believe in earthing, having your feet on the earth, and how Mother Nature's energy has been provided for us to heal our bodies. But many of you out there are struggling with some type of pain. You might be struggling with taking too many medications, really not understanding how to heal your body. And so I'm excited to have Parmelia Parham with us today. And we're going to dive into wellness in today's environment, which this landscape of wellness looks so different than it did a decade ago or a century ago. And we're just not interacting the same with physicians as we do today, as we did then. So she is the founding CEO of the Healing Institute, and today is going to be a really great conversation on what are your alternative options for wellness in today's environment. But before we get to Parmelia, I do want to thank today's sponsor of the show, Phoenix Drone Pros. And at Phoenix Drone Pros, we love what we do and are passionate about each and every drone photography and video shoot. We've been in business since 2016. Our talent and skills show in the video production we deliver. We offer fast service for commercial real estate, movies, events, and construction site monitoring. We also provide drone virtual tours and training that are all the rage right now. These virtual tours are great for team building and entertainment. Contact us today at phoenixdronepros.com to schedule your shoot online. Now, don't forget, they are franchising, so reach out if you are interested in purchasing your own drone company today and kissing corporate goodbye forever, which is amazing, by the way. Parmelia and I will tell you, we own our own businesses, and it's the most wonderful thing to have that freedom and do what it is that we love. And Parmelia Parham that's here today has been divinely guided to create the Healing Institute, which is a virtual global hub connecting clients to holistic practitioners. Parmelia inspires her team of professional holistic practitioners to create a proactive wellness community, supporting their clients and each other. The Healing Institute's motto is service with love. Parmelia, welcome to today's show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Colleen. I'm delighted to be here.
Man, I am so excited that you created this platform, and you and I have known each other for years, but this isn't, you just didn't do this overnight. So you've had a journey of holistic healing now for 25 years, which tells me you started a holistic journey when it really wasn't mainstream, when it was kind of weird.
People would call us woo-woo.
Woo-woo is a great word. Yes. Yeah. And no one knows what that means. Like I hear the word crunchy and all these things when it's like, my kids have said weird things about me because I recycled, like, isn't that a normal thing to recycle? So why did you get involved in holistic healing? Like, was there an individual that really changed your life when you met them, or did something happen with your health and you were forced to shift to something? Where was that pivot 25 years ago?
That's such a great question, Colleen, because yes, I can say yes to both of those questions. So I wasn't physically unwell, but I was emotionally and mentally unwell. I wasn't in a very good relationship at the time. I was searching. I was searching for, and I knew I was searching for answers. Now, I've always been curious my whole life. That's one thing I used to get in trouble for when I was a kid, asking too many questions. But I knew that I had to search for me. And just like you said, the woman that I ended up studying under for 8 years just showed up in my life. Now, this is very interesting because I was part of a women's networking luncheon, and she didn't like to do luncheons, but that was one day she showed up to this luncheon. So we met. She was a vibrational and holistic teacher, and she taught me all the language. I've been very intuitive my whole life, but I didn't have the verbiage. I didn't have the language. I didn't know what that was called. And so she taught me the language around vibration, energy, emotional healing. And I studied with her for 8 years, only for me, because I wanted my joy back. That was what I was looking for. I wanted to be more joyful. And so by learning how to balance my chakras, realign my belief systems, heal past lifetime energy, that I got my joy back. And so I was able to move out of that toxic relationship and get on with my life. Now, at the time, I had an event planning company, so I had no idea that moving into this area, I was actually going to end up doing this work. But my teacher at the time, she predicted, because I was moving back to Vancouver Island, where I live now on the west coast of Canada, and she predicted that this is what was going to happen, that I was going to, and it didn't happen right away, but because I had that joy and that satisfaction of who I was, it came out. You know, people would say to me, I was working at a resort at the time, and my coworkers would say, how come you're always happy all the time? I'm like, well, because I'm happy inside. So I'm happy, you know, that's what happens. Your joy comes out. So that was how I started my first company, Vibrational Healing, and teaching all the things that my teacher had taught me. She gave me complete carte blanche to teach everything that she had taught me, and then I was introduced to the emotion code and the body code, which is again vibration and healing and emotional healing, and then I was doing that in 2019, and I was kind of looking around my city. I live in a small city, and I was looking around to see whether there was a building or some place that we could have retreats or invite other holistic practitioners to, and we have lots here on Vancouver Island. So invite them to use the facility for workshops, even meeting with clients, all different kinds of things. And so people I was talking to said, yeah, that would be a great facility to have something like that. Well, then we know what happened in 2020. And one of the platforms that both you and I met on was a virtual networking group. Well, then all of a sudden, I'm meeting holistic practitioners all over the world. And so that was my leap. There you go. Yeah. Taking it from what I thought was going to be a building on Vancouver Island to an online worldwide platform.
Yeah. And I know both of those are needed today, whether it's in person, you know, local for someone. I have a client that does yoga and meditation and Pilates, neonatal care. And so she's working in a building that has a doctor for IVF and fertility. And there's also a massage therapist in there and an acupuncturist. Well, that makes a lot of sense because those modalities support someone going through IVF and the fertility journey, right? So that's what I love about what you put together. And let's just rewind it back to the beginning of the environment back when you said you started this. Everyone was really going to a doctor. So when they were asking, why are you so happy? People will take a pill to be happy. They will take a pill to not be sad, right? So there's a lot of lean into Western medicine because it might be just what we've known from a child. You are born and then your parents take you in for shots and you're constantly in the doctor. If you have a sore throat, if anything's wrong with you, then you would go to the doctor and they would give you an antibiotic or a pill or whatever to fix you and move on. And what we find is a lot of those, a lot of those medicines are really just treating symptoms of
Absolutely.
something that's so much deeper at the core, right? The root.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
so by creating the Healing Institute, what has it brought having wellness and holistic practitioners all around the world? What has that brought together for a client?
Well, for the client, it's one-stop shopping.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're a community of holistic practitioners. So we always have the client's best interest at heart. So, for example, if a client decided they want to try to do some body code work with me, but I think, oh my goodness, they could really benefit from Reiki, because we have a practitioner from South Africa that does Reiki over Zoom, which is really cool.
Mhm.
And another practitioner who is a conscious breathing facilitator. So just because that client showed up on my doorstep, I'm not hanging on to them because I'm looking at what is best for them. So I would be referring them to our community of
Yeah.
holistic practitioners. So it's like what you were explaining about the clinic where your friend is. We're here for
Yeah.
people who are looking for alternative ways to be well and stay well. And that's what we want to offer. We want to offer people hope. And we don't look at just symptoms. We actually look at what the root cause, we get to what the root cause is. And I think
Mhm.
that's why our medical model and all over the world, because I'm talking to people all over the world. So it's not just Canada and the United States where our medical
Yeah.
model is broken. It's everywhere. And that medical model's been around for a long, long time. And as you were saying earlier, that's all we ever knew. But
Yeah.
now we have way more information. We have so much more information. The new science that's coming out, people are talking. The new correlation that's talking about the difference between, not the difference, but how our gut health and our brain health works.
Mhm.
Now, we never used to think about that. We used to think, well, our stomach health or our gut health was one thing, our brain health was something else. No, there's a direct correlation. So I've been wondering why there's this, and I'm using this word tsunami to be dramatic, of Alzheimer's and dementia in the world all of a
Mhm.
sudden. Well, we've been eating junk for the last 30 to 40 years. So
Mhm.
we've been eating processed foods. We've been eating not organic and whole foods. I mean, those of us that are now, steering people toward, obviously, to look at whole foods. But that's making sense to me as to why now you meet so many people who know so many people that are having dementia issues
Mhm.
or cognitive issues. I just call them cognitive issues because we haven't looked after our gut health.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a new world, Colleen, absolutely a new world
Mhm.
of because we have information, we have science. And that's why I called the Healing Institute, because I'm really passionate about educating people about how to be well and how to stay well. We want to give people tools so that they can use them. We want to give people information so that
Yeah.
they know, there's more out there. And I mean, I share this story on my podcast that I do every Friday morning, that my mom passed away at a very young age because she'd been on a medication for over 20 years, and not once did her doctor ever say a side effect could be kidney failure.
Mm.
So we lost her at age 61 because she was having kidney issues, and it was due to being on the medication, not just the medication, but being on it for a long period of time. So
Mhm.
we didn't know things back then. That was 37 years ago. The reason I know it was that long ago because I was pregnant with my son. He just turned 37. But we now know more about the side effects of medication. And I'm not saying anything bad about allopathic traditional medication, traditional medicine. I think we need to work together. And
Mhm.
certainly we didn't have that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It was all it was what your doctor said you should take.
I have a very strong opinion about medication, and I've gotten a lot of flack for it because I really don't believe in it for many things. I mean, I always love the thought of, well, if my guts are hanging out or I've got a broken bone or something where I need surgery, right? Hospitals and doctors are great. Other than that, they go through one semester of what it is for like pharmaceutical. And if you meet a pharmacist, which you've probably met many of them over your lifetime, they will tell you their whole practice was studying medicine. That's all
right.
they do is study medicine. And so they have so much more knowledge, yet they feel like Pez dispensers at, where their boutique or wherever it is that they're giving these, medications and serving them to their customers. So I do have a very strong opinion on medications. I believe that God gave us everything we needed in the earth that grows on the earth, and plants and herbs and all those things to be able to survive. One of my favorite stories was I was watching Alone. Someone might actually enjoy this. I was watching the show Alone. And that's where people go out there by themselves. There's no crew with them, and they have to be the last person to survive. And one of the ladies got bit by a recluse spider. Well, like I know, that is like one of the most poisonous, dangerous spiders out there. And I had a friend that got bit by one when she was doing her yard work, and she went in the hospital, and it ate all of her skin. Like you could see like down to her bones, and it had eaten all of this. She's in the hospital, and all of this is happening to her body. And she was in there for weeks. She got better and got out. They did a lot of grafting and stuff on her skin. Well, this one individual living in the wild, Parmelia, she gathers plants, she gathers herbs, she's smashing them up, she's boiling them over a fire, she's drinking and also compressing and putting all of those the kind of meat that it makes on her bite. She does this for 4 days straight, and she says she can feel it in her lymph nodes. Now she feels like it's getting pretty bad. And but she's trying to draw it all out and drinking and doing everything she needs to do with these natural from the earth, just plants. And wouldn't you know, she almost was like, I think I might need to give up because I think this is getting too bad and I need to call a medical team. The very next day she wakes up and she turned a corner and healed herself, all from the earth of the plants that were all medicine.
And her body too, Colleen.
Story. Yeah.
Yeah, her body, because our bodies are amazing. Our bodies can heal themselves given the right conditions and
right.
Yes, but we're not taught. Yeah, we're not taught that. We're not taught that our bodies are amazing.
Yeah.
So, I encourage people to find those stories, go to those YouTube videos, people like Joe Dispenza, who completely healed himself after he was hit by a truck when he was on his bike doing a triathlon. Find those, not only are they inspirational, but they're true stories about how our bodies are so amazing and so resilient. And given the obviously the best conditions possible, our bodies will heal themselves.
Yeah. It's about the belief in it, right?
It's about the belief. Exactly.
It's about the belief. And so wellness in today's environment looks different. Now we have more to our fingertips. You can go to any store and you have instant dairy-free food, gluten-free food. You have food that is, vegetarian. So it used to not be that way back in the day. If you had a gluten-free allergy or allergic to gluten,
you probably didn't even know what it was that you were allergic to.
Right. That's right. And then when you did figure it out, to try to eat around that based on, there's no bread, no grains, no, all of that has to be pulled out of the diet. So wellness in today's environment is no different. If you can walk into a grocery store and pick what you need from the aisle that's low in sodium, because you've got to keep your sodium low, whatever it is, then you can do the same at the Healing Institute.
Absolutely.
Easily. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
telehealth. And I love telehealth more than anything because I can wake up in the middle of the night and use an app and have telehealth, right? When people ask me who is your primary doctor, I literally answer them with a question back and say, do people still have primary doctors? Mine retired like 20 years ago. Do they? I don't know.
We hardly have any primary doctors here on Vancouver Island because it's not remote, but a lot of people don't want to come here. Or we had 10 years ago, we had a whole generation of doctors who retired, like your doctor. And they didn't, and for young doctors who have to set up a practice and are trying to build a practice, maybe have a family, it's really, really expensive. And so we don't have it. We just don't have. So I have telehealth as well. I
Yeah.
love my telehealth. I actually, I've received better care over the app on my phone than I did when I had a doctor and I went to see him in person.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
all he wanted to do was give me medication for this and that and the other thing. And I'm like you, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
No.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I learned recently from an ENT doctor that insurance is literally squeezing out doctors, and they can barely make any money. And everyone thinks, oh, doctors make all this money. I will tell you right now, that is a false statement, because the insurance companies are making it so difficult for them to get paid. It is almost impossible. It is why a lot of places have gone to paying by cash versus using insurance, because it saves you money and it's going to save them money and heartache. And that's really, really, really sad that the world has come to that. That's just shows the landscape is different. So by putting this Healing Institute together, share with me what some of the customers have achieved, or, you know, maybe a testimonial that someone has shared of what that experience was like to be able to kind of have the one-stop shop for what they needed.
I'm just trying to think that one specific thing that, or one specific client that we can talk to, or I can conjure up that information for you. So connecting with one of the practitioners and having a bioenergetic session, which is looking at the energy that we all have energy, so we're all made up of energy. So it doesn't matter that it's over Zoom, and because energy goes everywhere. So that client was able to, they were able to heal an emotional issue. They were able to heal a physical issue that was being triggered by the emotional issue. And then from that particular situation, then they went on to a couple of the other practitioners just to make sure that their healing was well-rounded. So I think that's what I'd like to, you know, we that's what we offer as well, is that we've got a number of practitioners that can help with all areas. So when one practitioner is working on one area, then you can see another practitioner for another area if that practitioner doesn't have the expertise in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. And you cover everything. So whether it's someone who is struggling from gut health or inflammation or pain,
anything, yes.
migraines.
We've just onboarded a new practitioner from Slovakia, which I'm very excited that we're now into that realm of the world. And she does what she calls deep psychotherapy. So she can actually, she works with people even with finances. If you have finance issues, she can find the root cause of what is causing the finance issue or causing their relationship issue. So I mean, I think it's just absolutely amazing that we can offer that, and we can offer that through the whole world. So we're looking at expanding. My vision is we're in 10 countries right now. And my vision, 7 countries. And my vision is to be in 12 plus countries with as many practitioners. And I want people who are listening, who might be a practitioner, who might think that they might like to be part of the platform. I have a practitioner form on the platform that they can find and fill out. That's an email that comes to me, and then I connect with them. So just because we have some Reiki practitioners, or we have counselors, or we have registered clinical counselors, or we have coaches, I'm not limiting it, because a coach from the East Coast of our continent, let's say, the time zone might be better suited if they're
Yeah.
dealing with, if they're going to be working with a client in Europe or in England or South Africa, for example.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
it's not limited. I'm not limiting it to just one practitioner or one modality. We've got
Yeah.
it open.
I love it that you have everything available, and the website is the-healing-institute.com. So I want to make sure everyone knows that. We have it right there at their fingertips to click on, but it's the-healing-institute.com. So if you are a practitioner and you're like, well, this would be really great because I can get more visibility for my brand this way, definitely have a conversation with Parmelia to be able to do that. Where else can people find you, Parmelia, to be able to connect with you, to find out more about how they can go through the Healing Institute to be healed, but also maybe as a practitioner?
So my email is info@the-healing-institute.com. And I had to put the dashes in because the healinginstitute.org was already taken. So I didn't want to change the company name. And these regulations about the websites and how they have to be all set up. So that's why the dashes are in there. So I apologize ahead of time that you have to stick those hyphens in there. But you can connect with me on info@the-healing-institute.com. You can go on the website and look for the so we have the website divided into categories. So emotional healing, energy healing, integrated healing, therapies, and coaching. Inside each one of those categories are the list of modalities, which are a link. So I really designed the website for clients coming to the website.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a specific modality, you click on that link, then the practitioner that works with that modality, you'll get into their profile and you can book with them. All the practitioners have complimentary sessions. So I encourage people to connect with them. The practitioners realize in our wellness industry, you've got to have a conversation with people.
Mm-hmm.
People can't just, necessarily click and decide they're going to pay for something. Maybe they don't quite know what that is. Maybe they don't know what bioenergetic, therapy is. So you have to have a conversation. So yeah,
wonderful.
It's very easy. All the buttons are there. The book now buttons are all there. So
that's wonderful. Thank you for putting such a beautiful community together. And this is where everything's going. So virtual's here to stay, AI, virtual, everything all being, I love that you're able to reach everyone that they need. A lot of people will tell me, well, the holistic person here locally is far away and I have to really drive far. It's like, well, you could just go online and be able to, visit the Healing Institute, and that's perfect. And that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
So I love it. I know a lot of individuals that are practitioners on the Healing Institute as well, and have some more, definitely some more referrals for you that I thought of today during our conversation that I can send to you, that I think this would be a great platform for them. They need this platform. And I believe the clients coming to the platform need them too.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that's why it's such a beautiful marriage here. So you're also on Instagram at holistic.world.healing. And they can find you on LinkedIn. We have and you're doing a complimentary body code session, and I have your link. You want to tell us a little bit about the body code session?
Certainly, yes. So the body code was created by Dr. Brandon Nelson. It's looking at those emotions that you get trapped in your subconscious. Now, again, this is not something we're taught. We're taught our conscious brain is really, knows it all. Well, apparently it doesn't. So I use the analogy of an iceberg. So what's above the water is what's in our conscious brain. What's below the water is what's in our subconscious. And that really runs the show. So you want to be able to find those emotions and release them. And that's what the body code does. It's a process I take my clients through by finding what the emotion is and then releasing it. And depending on what they want to work on. So it could be anything. It could be physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, anything. And the subconscious is so amazing. It will zero in on the body code, which is a program that I use when I'm talking to the clients. We also have a chart of 60 trapped emotions that Dr. Bradley Nelson created. And then we use that chart to release those emotions out of whatever part, whatever the body code, whatever the actually subconscious is sending us in the app. So it could be a gland, it could be an organ, it could be a digestive system, it could be the nervous system, it could be a chakra. So it's pretty amazing, the program itself.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for offering that. So we have the link here for you to go ahead and book that complimentary body code session with Parmelia. And Parmelia, I just want to thank you for being such a valued member of the LEAP community, but I just want to thank you for so much of what you shared today. This is where the future is going to.
It is.
So either hop on or you're going to get left behind. You got to hop on the wellness train. I'm just saying your body will feel so much better if you start looking at changing your health for you to live a long time. There's no reason why you can't live to over.
And the new science that's out, Colleen, is saying we can live for a long time if our bodies are healthy. So that whole paradigm or that thought that we had 10 years ago is as we age, we need to get sick and we need to then die. It's a brand new world out there. That is not necessary. We don't need that.
That's why I won't ever retire, because then I expire. And I'm
you
like,
and I are the same.
Yeah.
People
Not
ask
gonna
me,
happen.
when are you retiring? I'm like, I don't know what that
Never.
word means.
Yeah, never. I do what I love. And so I love my life. So why would I retire? And I think that's just an old way of thinking. It's not what the landscape and environment is today. So thank you for being on today's show. And I do want to remind our listeners, you're the only you that's ever been. That's it. This body. You're the only you that's ever going to be spirit, mind, body. That's it. So you get to decide when your death date is, I guess I'll say, when it comes to your health. I know you can't help it if a bus hits you. I get that. But I'm saying, and are there any buses around anymore to hit us? Probably not. Like people that are afraid to fly, I thought it was hilarious because they're like, I'm afraid to fly because I'm afraid the plane's going to go down. So I'd rather drive. And I'm like, there are way more cars than there are planes in the sky. I'll tell you that. I'll take my risk with the one plane, right, in the sky. But we get to choose. That's my point on this, is we get to choose our wellness. I want to feel great. And I will tell you, because I started focusing on my wellness with probably one of the practitioners that you have at the Healing Institute. I'm pretty sure she's there. I now know when my body doesn't feel good. I really do know when something's off, and I can almost search down to understand what it is because I know myself better. And I think going through this process like you did a century ago, Parmelia, you knew your body better. You knew your mind and the health of your mind better to really understand what joy was and for you to be happy. And
exactly.
Yeah, that's the key here.
We need to be tuned into us. And you said it perfectly. We're the only person who really knows who we are.
Yeah.
So you need to be aware, you need to be tuned in, but you also need tools. Yeah. And that's what the Healing Institute offers, tools to help you on your wellness journey. Because let's face it, we're all on a wellness journey. And I'd certainly rather be on a wellness journey than an illness journey.
We are, Parmelia. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and leave you today. And until next time, don't forget to be you and be strong. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery, where you learned the tools to create a life by design. Remember, you are the only you there is, and you are the only you that will ever be. Be you and be strong, because you are brilliant, and the world needs you at your best. We cannot wait for you to join us again next time.